welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to embark on an incredible journey through history with the best and most fascinating historical photos of all time. These images capture significant moments that have shaped the world as we know it today. So, get ready to explore milestones and events that have marked our civilization. 1. War is Hell. In 1965, during the Vietnam War, an unknown soldier was captured in a photograph with a phrase written on his helmet, "War is Hell." 2. Normandy Landing. Possibly the most iconic photo of the famous D-Day depicts the Allied landing on the beaches of Normandy in 1944, where the defeat of the Nazis on the Western Front began. 3. D-Day News. On the morning of June 6, 1944, news about D-Day, which was the landing of Allied troops in Normandy, began to be broadcast to the US population. In this image, we can see people intently observing these reports. 4. Soviet invasion of Prague. In 1968, the Soviet Union sought to expand its control over nations near its borders. A photographer managed to capture the exact moment Soviet tanks arrived in the city of Prague, in what is now the Czech Republic. 5. San Francisco Fire. In 1906, a massive earthquake followed by a fire devastated the city of San Francisco, California. The image shows the destruction caused by the disaster, which resulted in thousands of deaths and the destruction of much of the city. 6. Jesse Owens in Berlin. The 1936 Olympics image shows American runner Jesse Owens crossing the finish line in the 200-meter race. Owens broke the world record at the time with a spectacular time of 20.7 seconds. What makes this even more historic is that the event was held in Nazi Germany, and Jesse, as we can see, was a black athlete, which completely shattered the absurd racial superiority ideology that Hitler preached. 7. John F. Kennedy assassination. The 1963 photograph shows the moment when U.S. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. This tragic event shook the country and had a lasting impact on American history. 8. Japanese Deliveryman. The curious photo from 1935, taken on the streets of Tokyo, Japan, shows a noodle deliveryman balancing several boxes while cycling with one hand. The noodles in question are called soba, still one of the most popular foods in Japan today. 9. Last photo of the Titanic before the accident. If the previous photo captured the moments before the Titanic's departure, this is literally the last recorded image before the tragic accident. The ocean liner struck an iceberg, sinking between the night of April 14 and the early morning of April 15, 1912. 10. Dust storms in Texas. This photo shows a harsh period in Texas during the 1930s when many rural communities were devastated by a climatic phenomenon called the Dust Bowl. This event brought powerful dust storms that hit the area for nearly 10 years. 11. Kathrine Switzer. Here we see Kathrine Switzer in the 1967 Boston Marathon, where we can also see a group of men, the event organizers, trying to stop her from participating in the race. Despite their attempts to expel her, she became the first woman in history to complete the marathon. She registered as Kilovolt Switzer to avoid being prevented from participating. 12. Last photo of the Hindenburg airship. The flight of the famous German airship Hindenburg ended in tragedy in 1937 in the United States. This is the last photograph taken before the accident, which occurred in New Jersey, killing 36 people. 13. Conductor prevents entry of passengers without masks. In 1918, at the height of the Spanish flu, a tram conductor in Seattle, United States, prohibited the entry of passengers without masks. As seen in the recent coronavirus pandemic, the idea of wearing masks was to prevent the virus, which would kill about 50 million people, from spreading even further. Before we continue, show your support for the channel by liking the video and subscribing. Your support is extremely important and motivates me to keep creating content. Let's continue. 14. Titanic, moments before departure. This photo shows the passengers and the exterior of the Titanic moments before the giant ship set off on its journey in 1912. The ship departed from Southampton, England, and was bound for New York, United States. As we know, the ship's maiden voyage, built by the White Star Line, ended in an unprecedented tragedy with over 1,500 deaths. 15. Assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. In 1968, the image shows the moment when some of Martin Luther King Jr.'s close associates point in the direction of the assassin in an attempt to indicate to others where the gun was. A striking record. 16. Painted cow. The image shows a farmer painting white stripes on a cow. But what's the reason for this, huh? It's an intelligent way to increase the animal's visibility at night, preventing car accidents. This method was widely used in low-light areas and during blackouts. 17. Beach volleyball in 1934. The curious photograph was taken in Venice Beach, California, in the United States. The year was 1934. 18. First Woodstock Festival. In 1969, the first Woodstock Festival occurred in the United States, bringing together hundreds of thousands of people in a celebration of music and peace. The image shows the crowd and the stage, capturing the spirit of the time. 19. Limbo Dance. The photo, taken at a nightclub in Los Angeles in 1964, shows a young woman performing the popular limbo dance, whose movements originated in Trinidad and Tobago. Dancers must lean back while passing under a bar. 20. Elvis Presley in the Army. This one's incredible. In 1958, Elvis Presley was drafted by the United States to serve in the military. Look, the musician ended up interrupting his career during that period but gained much admiration for not seeking ways to avoid his duty. Elvis underwent training in Texas and was later sent to West Germany, where there was great tension with the possibility of direct conflict with the Soviet Union, which controlled the eastern part of the country. 21. German civilian looking at a picture of Stalin. This iconic photograph was taken shortly after the end of World War II in 1945. We know that German territory was divided into two parts, one under Soviet influence and the other under American influence. Here we see a young man in Berlin looking at a portrait of Joseph Stalin, obviously in the eastern part of the country. 22. Happy Easter, Adolf. The iconic 1945 photo shows two Allied soldiers with "Happy Easter" messages for Adolf Hitler, written on bombs that would be used against German troops. Incredible, isn't it? 23. Children for Sale. This sad and shocking photograph from 1948 shows Lucille Char Fox, a mother from a family affected by the consequences of the Great Depression in the United States, putting her 4 children up for sale. It becomes even sadder when we research and find that of the 4 children sold, 2 suffered abuse and were enslaved, and the other still has an unknown fate. The only one who found a stable home was Sue Ellen, who later reunited with one of her sisters, Arlene. 24. Construction of the Empire State Building. The famous Empire State Building in New York began construction in 1930 and was completed in 1931. In this image, we see workers having lunch on a steel beam during the construction, one of the most iconic photos of that time. 25. Stalin. In this clandestine photograph, we see the moment Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin was informed that Nazi troops were about to conquer the city of Kiev. 26. Powerful photograph shows a group of Chinese soldiers begging for mercy. The powerful photograph shows a group of Chinese soldiers begging a South Korean military officer for mercy in 1951. It is worth remembering that the Chinese fought alongside the North Koreans in this conflict. This period marked the height of the Korean War, which ended in 1953 with the division of the territory into two, North Korea and South Korea. The peninsula remains so to this day. 27. Berlin Wall. The 1961 photograph shows the construction of the Berlin Wall, which divided the city into 2 parts during the Cold War. The wall became a symbol of the division between East and West and stood until 1989. These powerful images remind us of how rich and complex history is, shaped by events and people who defied the impossible. We hope you enjoyed this dive into the most remarkable moments of our journey as humanity. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating content. Leave your comment below. It can be criticism, praise, or suggestions. Your opinion is very important so that I can improve. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.